Jadeveon Clowney's been a free agent for nearly 2 months. Not much interest in him, in large part because there's no ability to give him a proper physical to determine whether or not he's healthy. Also, he reportedly wants a lot of money. He spoke with Mark Berman of Fox 26 in Houston. Here's what Jadeveon Clowney had to say. I just want to let people know I'm ready. I'll be ready to go whenever the time comes. Whoever I sign with will get the best version of me. I'm working. I'm staying ahead of schedule and working, and I'm going to be ready to go when training camp starts. He also hasn't ruled out a return to the Seattle Seahawks, who really haven't shown the level of interest that we thought they would. I think they're just waiting for Clowney's financial demands to drop. Clowney says he's got a few offers, but he's in no rush now. He's waiting for the right opportunity and the right timing. Peter, what do you know? What do you think? What do you believe about Jadeveon Clowney's future in 2020?
I've said all along that I think the favorite in the clubhouse for Clowney is Seattle. And I think that Seattle's going to end up with either Clowney or Everson Griffin when the dust settles heading into this season. But I do think, I think the Seahawks are being absolutely right, correct, and fair in holding whatever their contractual line is on Clowney. And let's say, I'll pick a number out of the sky. Let's say it's $14 million a year. I mean, let's look at Jadeveon Clowney's career. He's played 6 years in the NFL. He's had 32 and a half sacks. And if he played every game like he played the Monday Night Football game against San Francisco last year, he'd get a contract commensurate to what Reggie White earned in his career, dollars versus dollars. So, but he doesn't do that. And I'm not blaming him. He's had a lot of injuries. I get it. But the fact is, you are what you are. And Jadeveon Clowney is a very good football player who produces at the highest level of football, not every week. And look, part of that has been injury. I get it. But I don't know why in the world that there's this expectation that Jadeveon Clowney should make $18 million a year, especially in this environment where teams are not spending the way they did in the past. And I think part of that is because of the current economics and the situation that we have. There are not a lot of long-term big money contracts this offseason. So I think Jadeveon Clowney, if I were him, I'd get as much money as I could for 2 years and prove that I deserve, when the cap really starts to go up, prove that I deserve really a significant bump. But based on what I've seen so far, I would hold the line the exact same way that John Schneider and the Seahawks are.
Yeah, well, I mean, Peter, you made a lot of good points. I mean, you really did. I was going to make a lot of them. You're right. I mean, Jadeveon Clowney, when he's healthy and ready to go, I don't care what the stats say. He will ruin a game plan in 4 seconds. He is one of the best defensive players in the league. Like you said, when we see him really healthy, you could argue he's the best defensive player in the league. He's one of those guys, Mike, that you and I talk about. He's got the F up the play stat. He's been one of the league leaders. He can play in a 3-4. He can play in a 4-3. He is a guy, like, when you turn on the film or watch a game on Sunday and he's in it, you don't know. If you don't know anybody in the field, you just go, man, who is that guy? He is big and fast, and he is aggressive and everywhere. I mean, he's a game changer, but he's damaged goods to what Peter said. Like, he is. And injuries are part of Jadeveon Clowney, and that's unfortunate. I don't like that for him. I really like this player. I mean, he's one of my man crushes right here. But when you get into microfractures and low, Liz Franks and, of course, what we saw this year with the core muscle surgery and all that, those are serious injuries for a guy that plays defensive end and as physical as he does. So ultimately, I look at teams like, I think what Jadeveon has to do is what Peter said. Find a 2-year deal. It's kind of, I think, how he's going to have to live his NFL career, is on 1- and 2-year deals and just keep playing that way to maximize it. And I think there's some teams out there that certainly could use him and probably will overpay for him a little bit on a year-to-year basis.
Yeah, I think 1-year deal is the most he can hope for now. And, anytime the argument comes up that all NFL contracts should be guaranteed, the easy response is, if that were the case, they'd all be 1, 2, at the most 3-year deals if they were fully guaranteed. But that may just be the way Jadeveon Clowney does exist in the NFL. He never gets that gigantic contract with a lot of guaranteed money, and, it's fully guaranteed for maybe 2 years, and then it's all fluff on the back end. And, maybe it's better this way. Maybe because you're not tied in. They can squat on you because they have your rights beyond that second year, and maybe it's a great deal for them, so they keep you around at a salary they like. No, just make it that short-term deal. Go have an impact, and then go back to the trough the next year and make what you can. And that may be Clowney. That may be who he is and what he is. And I think every year there will be someone who sees what he did the prior year and says, even if he's banged up, even if he's hurt, even if he's only going to play 10 games, I want that guy on the field, Peter, for 10 games.
Which is exactly how it should be, Mike. And I would love to have Jadeveon Clowney on my team. Absolutely love it. But there comes a point where you have to do the responsible thing for your organization. You saw that list of injuries. You saw everything, about his production. And look, sack is an overrated statistic. I agree. However, it is telling to some degree. And the fact is, he's never had a double-digit sack season in his career. He's averaged less than half a sack a game. And again, don't take that for everything, because he can wreck games. Right. But if he wrecked games every week, nobody would care about the sack stats. He doesn't wreck games every week. He's either been too hurt or too inconsistent to wreck games every week. And that's why you have to be responsible when you go to negotiate a contract with Jadeveon Clowney.
Right. Mike, I thought he would maybe get a long-term contract, to lessen the year-by-year salary cap blow. But, Mike, you make a great point. I mean, with an injury history like that, you don't want to, we could have got out of this deal after 2 years and move on. But with a guy that gets injured as much as he does, you might get stuck with having to pay years 3 and 4 if it was a serious injury or something like that. So that's the risky part. But he plays a premium position, and we know there's some teams like the Tennessee Titans, the Eagles, the Jets, with some salary cap room and the positional need to where I think there's going to be a market for Clowney, and he'll get some big money, at least for 2020.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.